Hi guys, how's it going? I'm Amy from Rebel Nutrition. I am gonna hang out here for a couple minutes before I get into the training. I know I'm a couple minutes early, so I'll just wait while everybody joins. If you are joining us right now, let me know in the chat where you're watching from. I am in Lisbon currently, so this is our little Lisbon Airbnb, and I really like it here so far. We've mostly just been kind of working. So after today, we're going to go explore a little bit more. So looks like we have some people joining. So let me know in the chat where you're watching from, and then probably hang out for another minute or two and then get right into the training because I don't want to waste your guys' time. There's a ton of content that I'm going to be covering today. Okay, hi Kayla. Let me know where you guys are watching from. Jennifer's from Seattle. Karma's from Los Angeles. Okay, good. Looks like that means you guys can hear me, so that's good. Pismo Beach, Laureen. Awesome. Gonna wait a couple more minutes. Oh, awesome. Looks like there's like 37 of you on already. Cool. Safa is from Houston, Pittsburgh. Amazing. Well, so I'm just going to cover a few things real quick before I get into the training. So, oh, Melissa's from Lisbon too. Cool. So as you guys know, if you've ever been on any of my live trainings before, I normally do this portion live and then I switch over to the recorded kind of slides portion. And then at the end, I switch back onto my face. Today, we've had some technical difficulties, so it's actually going to be live the entire time. I'm going to be switching over to the slides and just reading through them and teaching you guys that way. So unlike my normal trainings, I'm not going to be able to also be in the chat answering questions. But luckily, I believe that my assistant Vanessa is on right now. Oh yeah, she's under the name Yo Soul Sista. So she can answer any questions that come up for you guys. And then also Eric is going to be moderating as well. So if you have any questions while I'm going through the training, go ahead and ask them. And then there's two people that can help you in there because I'm going to be going through the training live, which is pretty exciting. I haven't done that in a long time. So this should be fun. So I'm not going to waste your guys' time. I'm going to get right over into the training, but I'm going to have to switch over to the slides real quick. Okay, guys, so hello again. I am Amy from Rebel Nutrition, and I am going to be your host for today's training. So I am so excited to have you guys all here. Today, I'm going to be talking about the 4 things that you need to know if you want to successfully promote and sell anything on Instagram. So this means your one-on-one services like coaching, your group programs, courses, products like essential oils or maybe Beauty Counter, or even to generate more sales through things like affiliate links and other things like that. So right now, tell me in the chat what you want to start selling using Instagram or what you are currently selling on Instagram. Okay, and just to entice you guys to stay until the end, those of you who are attending this training live will have access to over $500 worth of bonuses that I have never offered anywhere else before. So I am super excited to share them with you. Uh-oh, okay. Hold up, everybody's saying black screen. That's not good. Okay, you can only see me. Okay, let me know. Is anybody that's watching, can anybody that's watching see the slides or can you guys only see me? Oh, can you? Vanessa set it up now. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do, cool, so you guys can see it now. So hang with me, you can see both. Okay, cool. Well, just FYI, I'm gonna be looking down because that's where my notes are, but I will try and make it bigger for you guys so you can see it a little bit better. This is the benefit of having people help you, is that I would have never known that you couldn't see my slides. Okay. Okay, cool. Well, hopefully that is okay and you guys can see that all right. I'm gonna keep going through the content right now. Okay, perfect. So here we go. This is imperfection at its best. Anyways, okay. All right, so also bonus points, you guys, if if you share a screenshot, if you Insta story any of this training and tag me, there's going to be tons of really good content today that I'm sharing with you guys. And I hope that you want to share some of it with your followers as well. So feel free to Insta story, tag me, and I will feature some of you guys on my stories as well. All right. And like I said, you guys, I'm going to be going through a ton of content today. So definitely be sure to listen up, eliminate distractions. And if you have anything to take notes, you might want to get that ready, because some of the things I'm going to cover, a couple of the strategies, you're probably going to want to come back to reference later. Okay, so here is what you are going to learn in today's training. You're going to learn my top 4 strategies for selling anything on Instagram. So this includes the #1 thing you need to know about your follower count and how much those numbers actually matter. You're going to learn the importance, better switch slides. You're going to learn the importance of Instagram stories when it comes to selling a product or service on Instagram, as well as a few tips on how to be more effective, likable, confident, and engaging in your stories. You're going to learn about how to actually take your potential clients and customers from Instagram to the checkout cart or enroll now page of your website. And a little hint here, it's not the swipe up feature. So don't worry if you're not at 10K yet. And this tip is really going to blow your mind. So give me a yes in the chat right now if getting your followers from Instagram to your checkout page is currently your biggest struggle. And lastly, you are going to learn about how to use Instagram as a platform to launch whatever it is you're selling, whether that is a product, a service, your one-on-one coaching, whatever it is, in the most effective way in order to generate the most sales for your business. And this tip is huge and actually something I've never shared before for free. So I'm really, really excited to share it with you guys today. Now, before I get into the training, I just wanted to reassure you, because I've received a lot of questions in regards to the material I'm going to teach today and if it's right for your specific type of business. So I just wanted to reassure you that you are in the right place if you are an online business owner of any kind. So maybe you are like me and you sell online courses, or maybe you are a nutritionist or a health coach who is trying to increase your one-on-one client load or fill up your programs. Or maybe you're a blogger who is looking to use Instagram to send more traffic to their website. So if this is you, give me a 1 in the chat right now. Okay, or maybe you have a different type of business where you sell a physical product like beauty counter or essential oils, or something handmade, something like that. Or maybe you have an Amazon store, something with a physical product, and you want to use Instagram to increase your sales. So give me a 2 in the chat if this one is you. Okay, this is cool because now I can see your guys' comments as well, because before I couldn't. Perfect. Okay, so you guys are also in the right place if you aren't an online business owner yet. Maybe you're still in the pre-contemplation stage, or you're still in school, but you are trying to build up your audience now so that once you do have something to sell, you already have a built-in audience of people who are ready to buy. So give me a 3 in the chat if this one is you. Okay, so you're also in the right place if you're thinking, but Amy, I only have a few hundred followers, or I really don't want to be seen as salesy or spammy, or maybe selling doesn't come naturally to me, things like that. So give me a 4 in the chat if that one is you. You guys, it's actually kind of a challenge to be going through the slides and going through my notes because I'm so Italian that I have to talk with my hand, and I don't know how to do it without using my hand. Okay. Lastly, if you are somebody who simply wants to increase their sales and revenue, no matter what your field, using Instagram, you are in the right place for today's training. So give me a 5 in the chat if that is you. But if you are somebody who stumbled upon this training and you're looking for help with like Facebook or Twitter, just being honest, this is probably not the right training for you. Okay, so You guys, I felt so called to create this training because what I'm hearing from you more than anything else is that you are really, really frustrated with how your engagement continues to drop on Instagram. So give me a yes in the chat if your engagement has dropped specifically in the last few months. And I know that if you're a business owner or if you plan to become one, this lack of engagement really is more than just about losing a popularity contest, right? You aren't looking for a lot of likes and comments just for the hell of it. At least I'm not. I don't think you guys are either. And the sucky thing about less likes and comments and DMs and overall reach on Instagram as a business owner is that you are potentially going to be selling your less coaching packages, less products. You're going to reach less potential students to enroll in your courses and programs. And essentially, the concern is that you're going to generate less revenue in your business, right? Especially if Instagram is your main social media platform of choice, like it is for me. I love Instagram. So type me in the chat if this is a concern of yours, the less engagement, meaning less revenue as a business owner. Okay, well, you guys ready for a truth bomb? Here it goes. My engagement and likes and comments are all down to womp womp, right? Okay, I bet you didn't expect that coming from me since I'm teaching a training on Instagram, right? But before you lose faith in me, let me just tell you guys a quick story because I hope that it will be really inspiring to you as a business owner or as somebody who wants to generate more sales on Instagram, no matter what your current follower count or what your engagement is like right now. So just real quickly, a little bit about my story if you guys are new around here. I am a NTP, which is a nutritional therapy practitioner. I am an online business and social media coach. I'm a Beautycounter consultant and a digital nomad, and I've been traveling the world full-time while running my business for almost an entire year now. And the entire time I've had my business, I've actually used Instagram as my main source of free organic traffic. And in fact, it's the only social media platform that I actually have a strategy for or that I've ever had any sort of strategy for. So of course, when I noticed that my engagement was decreasing a couple months ago, I honestly got a little bit scared because at this point, I really do feel like my business is pretty solid. Instagram actually is where over 80% of my leads come from, and leads just meaning my paid clients, customers, and students that enroll in my courses. So I started wondering, if my Instagram engagement is dropping, does this mean that, my sales are going to decrease? Will I still have as many enrollments into my courses? And what about email opt-ins? Will I continue to grow my list and drive traffic to my website? Will I continue to generate Beautycounter sales and grow my team? So these are all really legitimate fears and questions that I had for my business due to my lack of engagement. But if you guys know anything about me, I really don't like excuses. So I kind of just refused to believe that this lack of engagement was going to affect my business negatively. And I really just continued to move forward as usual with business as usual. Okay, so here's where the story gets really good. As some of you guys may know, I launched my newest course a few months ago during the midst of the new algorithm changes and lowered engagement, which was arguably the absolute worst time to try and launch a new program if Instagram is your main social media platform like it is for me. Well, not only did I have more new signups, more new people sign up for my offerings and free webinars during that time. I actually had over 800 people sign up for one of my webinars, which is more than I have ever had. Instagram was the only social media platform that I used to promote the launch of my course, which is pretty crazy. And so despite my engagement being down, I still had my first ever 6-figure launch. So cheers to that, right? Now, obviously, there are a lot of factors and strategies that played into this. It wasn't like, I did a few Instagram stories and made 6 figures in 1 month. So I don't want to give anyone here the wrong idea, but give me a hell yes in the chat right now if this is the type of ROI that you are looking for from Instagram. Okay, so I'm going to be sharing the four of the vital strategies that I used during this launch with you guys today. And these are Instagram strategies that I've used not only during this past six-figure launch that I was just talking about when my engagement was way down, but I've used these same strategies in every single 5-figure launch I've ever had since starting to rely on Instagram as my biggest lead generator. And that includes my very first big launch, which was a 5-figure launch, when I only had 5,000 followers. So I know that a lot of you guys are around that same number, or you're close to that right now, or even over that. So I want you to know that these strategies I'm sharing today are really for anybody. And just so you guys don't think that this is some kind of fluke, here's a look at my email list growth from the past few months as well. So not only have my course sales continued to increase, but my website page views are increasing, my email list is growing, and my Beautycounter sales and team continue to grow as well. Which all of this just means is that I can continue to do what I love, which is traveling the world full time, experiencing as many new places and people and foods and experiences as possible, and continuing to run a fun, freedom-based business that is on track to hit 7 figures within the next year. And this means that I get to continue to teach you guys how to use Instagram to do the exact same thing in your businesses. So let's do this. Today, I'm going to be teaching you guys what I did to achieve these numbers, the actions that I took on Instagram that you can totally replicate instead of blaming the algorithm for lack of sales or engagement or conversions. So who's ready? Give me a yes in the chat. Let's get into the training. So here we go. How to use Instagram to sell your one-on-one coaching, courses, and products without being salesy or spammy, no matter what your product or service is, no matter how many followers you have or how much your engagement has dropped lately. Okay, so thing number one that you need to know in order to use Instagram to sell anything is that your follower count does not matter, you guys. It seriously does not matter. We have got to stop thinking that our number of followers are the be-all, end-all of using Instagram to increase the sales in our businesses. So what I see a lot from my clients and students is them waiting to sell their services or products or programs until they have a bigger following. So let me know if that is a thought that you've had before. And the problem with this is that we think that simply having more followers is going to result in more sales, when this really couldn't be any further from the truth. You guys, I know people who have had 5- and 6-figure months with less than 10,000 Instagram followers, myself included, and people with over 100,000 followers who are really struggling to make sales. If your main goal on Instagram is to generate more income for your business, you need to have a strategy for the followers that you do have instead of focusing on the ones that you don't have. The bottom line is, if you have 100 followers and you don't know how to convert any of them into clients, customers, or students, that's not going to miraculously be fixed by gaining another 1,000, 10,000, or even 100,000 followers. And the problem is not your follower count, it's your sales strategy. So the next few tips I'm going to be covering in this training are going to provide my exact strategy for you to replicate. But first, I want to give you guys a few tips on how to up the engagement with the followers that you do have. Whether that is 10 or 10,000. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna try and get a little more comfortable here. See if we can do this. Okay. So a lot of times I see people wondering why they aren't getting any engagement on their photos on Instagram. So let me know if that's a question you've had. And then when I look at their accounts, I see that they simply haven't asked for it. So what I mean by this is you really can't expect to just post a picture of, your beautiful Instagrammable breakfast with a caption like, breakfast vibes, and expect for people to just flock to your account and comment like crazy. At least not anymore when there is a ton of competition on Instagram. So a few ways to ask for engagement if it's a photo in your feed is to literally ask your audience a question related to your business and to your photo in some way. So remember that people really like to share their input and their point of view with you, especially if it's a polarizing question. And here's an example from my own account that I posted a while back. And before I even posted this photo, I knew that it was going to have a ton of engagement because of the caption, which was me asking if people were team gluten or team gluten-free. So it's a topic that's obviously related to the photo, and it's related to what I do as a nutritionist. And most importantly, it's a topic that people in the wellness world really feel strongly about one way or the other. So they really want to express their opinion. Now, to ask for engagement on stories, and I'll explain a little bit more about why I think stories are so important and even more important than your feed photos in just a second. We actually have a few ways to do this now really easily, thanks to features like the poll, the slide, and the questions feature. I am really loving these, by the way. Let me know if you guys are too. So whereas things like hashtags in your stories, whereas things now like hashtags in your stories can actually help you reach a new audience, and that's great too. What you really want to be focusing on if you're trying to sell anything using Instagram is engaging the followers that you already do have. And simply getting somebody to vote yes or no on a seemingly unimportant poll is enough to get them a little bit more invested into you and your business every single time that you get them to vote. So to recap tip number 1, that your follower count really does not matter if your goal is sales on Instagram. Let's look at a few of the key differences between somebody who uses Instagram as a hobbyist and somebody who uses it as an Instapreneur. And Instapreneur is obviously just a combination of the words Instagram and entrepreneur. So a hobbyist posts to her feed and her stories and then obsessively checks her number of likes, comments, and new followers and lost followers. It totally happens. I get it. I've been there before. Whereas an Instapreneur knows that those habits are actually taking away from business tasks that could actually be providing an ROI. An Instapreneur ensures that she is giving her audience something to engage with before posting. So an example of this would be a call to action, asking your audience a question, providing a valuable piece of content, or telling a story that your audience can connect with. You have to ask for it. All right, on to tip number 2. Let me know if I'm talking way too fast. Sometimes when I get excited, I just start going really fast. So let me know. So tip number 2, what you need to know if you want to sell anything on Instagram is that your stories are actually more important than your feed photos. Mic drop, right? So if you're still shying away from doing Instagram stories, this one might be a little bit scary for you, but just stick with me here. I'm going to give you some tips on how to make this easier. So why do stories matter so much to those of us who are trying to use Instagram to increase sales in our businesses? Well, adding video can increase sales conversions, you guys, by 80%. And that is huge, right? And Instagram stories are really great and such a low barrier to entry too, because they truly do not have to be curated. They don't have to have the perfect lighting, and they don't even have to be planned out, ahead of time if you don't want to. Any video is better than no video when it comes to Instagram stories, because the purpose of stories is to allow your audience into your life and to get to know the real you, and not the perfectly curated facade that people maybe see on your feed. Okay, another truth bomb, you guys. In the online sales world, and really sales in general, people don't want to buy from big businesses anymore. They want to buy from real people, especially if you're in a field like health and nutrition, life coaching, spirituality, or anything where that human connection piece is really important. So allowing your audience to get to know you as a person and not just what you do as a business owner is really, really key. So this is why accounts who focus on building a personal brand first and sharing their paid products and services second actually generate way more in sales and are much more successful than accounts who only post product photos. So I'm sure you guys can think of a few examples of maybe accounts that you aren't even sure who runs the account because you've never seen a picture of them, or you don't know anything about that person. You probably feel way less connected to them, right? But I'm not going to show you an example of the negative. I'm only going to show you an example of somebody who I think does this really well. So where I lost my place. Let's see. Went off on a tangent. So somebody who sells products, but first and foremost has a strong personal brand like Diane Sanfilippo. I use her as an example because I feel like probably a lot of you on here follow her. You know that she's absolutely killing it in the online business world, but you know also if you follow her account that she talks about a lot of other things that are personal, that are completely unrelated to what she does as a business. So she really does a good job of building a personal brand first. Okay. So videos and stories make it easier for your followers to connect with you and feel like they are really being welcomed into your life. You guys, it is a lot harder to fake who you are on Instagram stories. That's just the truth. And thus, you're going to be able to much more quickly be really polarizing with your audience and weed out the lifers. And the lifers are people who will sign up for everything that you ever sell, every free opt-in that you have, things like that. Weed out the lifers from the haters, and the haters just being people who, once they get to know who you really are, they probably unfollow you. But it doesn't matter because those people were never going to engage with you or buy anything from you anyways, right? Okay, so who here is really scared of showing their face on Instagram stories, or maybe it's the hearing of your own voice that's the worst part? I thought I would share this quote from Tim Ferriss because I thought it was so applicable here. And it just says, what we fear doing most is usually what we most need to do. And also, you guys, I can guarantee anything that you are afraid of, everybody else is afraid of too. So just know that we're kind of all in this together. When I first started doing Instagram stories, I was also terrified, but it does get easier. That's the only thing I can say about that. Okay, so a little recap about tip number 2, which is why your stories are so much more important than your feed when it comes to selling on Instagram, is that, so comparing the hobbyist to the Instapreneur again, a hobbyist shies away from stories because she's afraid of being judged by her family, her coworkers, and her peers, and her business really stays stagnant because of it. Whereas in Instapreneur, if I can turn my page, an Instapreneur gets on Instagram stories as consistently as possible. She provides value, inspiration, and education. She shares insights into her life. She shows her imperfections and her realness. She doesn't view stories as work that needs to be planned out, but more of a behind the scenes, value-based look at her life and her personality that people can connect with. And as a result, her personal brand and business continues to grow. All right, I'm gonna take a quick sip of water. Okay, cool. Thanks for sticking with me, you guys. We'll get through this together. Okay, so tip number 3, what you need to know if you want to sell on Instagram. And this is going to be quite surprising, I know, but it's actually that you need to get off Instagram. So let me explain what I mean by this. And this is the start of tips 3 and 4 are going to dive really deep into some strategy. So get your notes ready if you have them, because I think these are the 2 tips that you're probably going to want to come back and reference. So a question that I get all the time is, how do I get people off of Instagram and onto my sales page or my checkout page or whatever it is that you're selling? So type me in the chat right now if this is something that you struggle with, if you're wondering how to actually entice people enough to click that link in your bio. And the answer might kind of blow your mind because, contrary to popular belief, like I said at the beginning of this training, it's really not just as simple as having access to the swipe up feature. So I guess that is a good thing, because if you are less than 10,000 followers, you don't have that anyways. But I'm here to tell you, you don't need it. So you know how earlier in the training I said that 80% of my leads come from Instagram and not 80% of my sales? Well, this is because I have a very strategic route or flow, whatever you want to call it, that I want my Instagram audience to follow. And I never actually send them directly to my sales page. So that's a really important piece here. I pretty much never, I mean, there are a few occasions, but I pretty much never send people directly from Instagram to my sales page. Well, why is this? Well, it's because pretty much nobody is ever ready to buy the first time they hear about an offer. Most people need to be exposed to something at least 5 to 7 times before they are ready to buy, even if they are really interested in it. So while it's great if you can get somebody to click over to your sales page, because that means that they're definitely interested, what happens if they get distracted or they're busy or they click away from it? You might lose them forever, right? So unless you want to roll the dice and depend on the algorithm to show them your content again, but I seriously do not recommend relying on the algorithm to know who your warm leads are, because we know how often the algorithm changes on us, right? So you're probably thinking, okay, well, if I'm not sending them to the sales page, where do I send them? So you want to send your warm audience, and the warm audience are the followers who might be interested in your paid offering. You want to send them to a free download, a free training, a tutorial, or something similar that is so good that they can't pass it up. So this is before you ever send them the link to your sales page or to your checkout page. And this can be done by sending people to the clickable link in your bio, like you can see right here in this photo of my Instagram bio. And I also recommend looking into Linktree if you want to be able to link multiple freebies at the same time using that same link. Or like I said before, if you have over 10,000 followers, you can also use that swipe up feature on stories. But I'm telling you guys, if your freebie is enticing enough, people will click over into your bio to get it. I know it's an extra step for people, but if your freebie is good enough and value packed and it's exactly what your audience wants, it will be no problem for them to go over and click to get it. So the key is also knowing who your audience is and what they just cannot resist and how to give that to them. Okay, so now in exchange for your audience receiving your freebie, you're going to be collecting their email address. And this can be done via an email service provider like MailChimp or ConvertKit. There's tons of different email service providers that will do this for you. And then from there, I recommend sending a sequence of sales emails that include the link to your sales page. So then and only then are people getting the link to your sales page, because then you can continue to follow up with them and remind them about promotions and urgency and things like that. So after this step, you're going to be using Instagram promotions like Instagram stories as a supplemental reminder about whatever it is that you're selling, but it's not the main driver of your sales. So if you're interested more about sales, stay tuned for the next tip, because I'm going to get more into some strategy about that. Okay, so a little recap. A hobbyist assumes that her audience will swipe up and enroll, or click the link in her bio to enroll or purchase or add to cart if she's interested. Whereas an Instapreneur never sends anybody straight to the sales page or to the checkout page. An Instapreneur directs her followers to a free training, PDF, or download that is related to her paid offering. And this free download captures their email address, and then from there sends a sequence of follow-up sales emails that then direct her directly to the sales page. Okay, that was a lot. So let me know if you guys are still with me here. Hopefully I went slow enough for you to take some good notes. Okay, now tip number 4, if you want to use Instagram to sell anything, is that you must use Instagram to launch your product or service. So tip number 4, like I said, kind of builds off of tip number 3. But if your goal is to use Instagram to get more sales in your business, you have to know how to use Instagram to launch whatever it is that you are selling. So first off, what is a launch? A launch is a set period of time, which usually lasts anywhere from 3 to 10 days, where you plan a hard promotional push of your products or services. And during this time, the purpose of a launch is to get as many people in the doors, as many people to enroll or to buy as possible. And a strategic launch is so important if sales are your goal, you guys. You cannot just do an Instagram story, once a week about your paid offering and expect to have a 5 or 6 figure launch. You might get a few sales here and there, but it likely will not be very significant. And launching is a really multifaceted technique with a lot of moving parts if you want to do it successfully. But here are some of the essentials that you need to know if you are going to be using Instagram to launch. So you want to plan to launch your product or service every few months. And obviously this is going to vary depending on the price point of your offer, but I would say around 4 times a year is a good general rule of thumb so that you're not constantly selling to your audience or constantly promoting on Instagram, because quite honestly, that can get really tiring for both you and your audience. And during this launch period, you're going to want to plan to do daily reminders to your Instagram audience that, the doors are open, the promo is happening, whatever it is that's going on in your launch that is encouraging people to sign up. Now, these reminders should also include Instagram stories about what's included. So, exactly what you are actually selling, who it's for, how to enroll. That's important to make sure if you have to have them, apply or something like that, you're giving them information on that. You can also, this is a good place to do Q&A sessions. You can do testimonials from past clients or students, how-tos, etc., as well as feed photos that kind of share the same types of information. But again, stories are more important. I also like showing behind the scenes of what's happening during my launches. So for example, how I'm feeling during my launch, how I'm celebrating, things like that, because it's kind of a good way to just bring that personal factor back into your stories. And it's also a good way to sort of remind people that the launch is still going on in an indirect way without feeling like you're, constantly being, buy. So hopefully that makes sense. And lastly, if you're launching, it can also be really helpful to drive sales to incorporate different types of urgency into your launch. And urgency is going to be things like, having the doors open and close at certain dates, have the time running out, maybe the promotion, you have maybe $100 off, maybe have that end on a certain day. All of those things are kind of urgency and incentive and reminders to get people off the fence and to enroll now instead of putting it off, because people really do need a reason to get off the fence and buy now. And remember, all of these elements are being promoted daily via Instagram to remind your audience of your offer, in addition to the emails that you are going to be sending out to them. Okay, little reminder here, you guys, about launching. It is totally normal to feel a bit annoying during the time of a launch. But I promise you, no one else will care. And if they do, they were probably never going to buy from you anyways. So it doesn't really matter, right? And I also know that everything kind of I just covered in terms of launching, it sounds like a lot, but just remember that you're not going to be doing this constantly. This is not your, every day of the year Instagram strategy. It's just a few times a year to generate that big push. So you can generate the most sales. So definitely right now, you guys, if you're having any questions or anything like that, I know Vanessa and Eric are in the chat, but if you have them, feel free to leave them in there and I will get to them at the end. So a little recap when it comes to tip number 4 about launching. A hobbyist uses Instagram to launch her product or service by simply posting about it one time because she doesn't want to annoy people. And then she sits back and waits for the sales to start rolling in. Let me know if you've ever done this. You've ever, posted once and just been like, okay, why isn't anybody buying? Where are the people? Whereas an Instapreneur knows that not everyone will see every single thing that she posts, and that people actually need to be reminded again and again and again in order to actually enroll. So daily Instagram stories, behind the scenes, everything I listed before, in addition to the emails that you're going to be sending out with the links to the sales page. So an Instapreneur knows that anyone who unfollows her during this time wasn't ever going to buy from her anyways, and she doesn't take it personally. Okay, guys, I know that was a lot that we just covered. So like I said, leave your questions in the chat for me and I will get to them at the end. So now that I've shared a few of my top tips with you guys about using Instagram as a vital piece of your sales strategy for your business, and before I get into the special offer and the special bonus that I have for everybody who showed up today, I want to just remind you why you showed up today. So yes, you showed up because you want to generate more sales using Instagram and figure out the best way to do this, of course. But you also probably showed up because you want to increase your visibility on Instagram so that you can reach more of the right people with your unique brand message. So give me a 1 in the chat if this one is you. You also showed up today because you want more followers. You want more followers, but I know that if you're anything like me, you don't just want followers for the sake of it. You want more followers who really genuinely love the content that you're sharing, the message that you're sharing, and followers who actually turn into clients and customers and not competition. So give me a 2 in the chat if that one is you. You're here because Instagram is your favorite social media platform and you need a strategy for it that works because you don't have time to be on every single social media platform while you're trying to grow a profitable business. So give me a hell yeah in the chat if this one is you. I know this was definitely the case for me when I was first getting started. Nobody has time for every single platform. And lastly, you are here because you're ready to up-level your business and start generating the type of cash flow from your one-on-one services, courses, programs, and products that will provide you the freedom to create your own schedule, work from wherever you want to, and live your best life. So give me an F yeah in the chat if this one is you, or you can say the full F word, but I just don't like to offend anybody on my webinars, so I try and refrain from cussing. All right, so listen, you guys, I totally understand the frustration that we are all feeling with the lack of engagement on Instagram right now, but I am living proof that if you have a strategy when it comes to Instagram and you treat the platform like an entrepreneur and not a hobbyist, it can truly become the backbone of your entire sales strategy, no matter what you're selling, how many followers you have, or how much your engagement has dropped. Learning to leverage Instagram was seriously one of the most effective things I ever did in terms of ROI for my business. And because honestly, when I was first starting out, like I said, I did not have the time to be on every single social media platform. And these strategies have continued to allow me to bring in enough revenue to travel full-time, grow my business, and work from wherever I want to be in the world. Because the truth is, there are a lot of moving parts when it comes to using Instagram effectively as an entrepreneur, and some of these include understanding the algorithm and staying up to date with the changes and what that means for your account, establishing a profitable niche with your IG account so that people know what you do and what your paid offer actually is without feeling like you're tied to that niche forever or without feeling like that's all you can talk about, because that's definitely not the case. And what about taking and editing beautiful photos? So no, you don't need an expensive camera to do this, but when it comes to your feed, the quality and cohesiveness of your photos and the overall look of your feed actually really does matter. And that's also why I'm more of a fan of Instagram stories, because they're much less curated. And what about hashtags? What are they? How many are you supposed to use? Where are you supposed to put them? And which ones are you supposed to use to attract clients and not competition? And captions, how important are they? And how can you write them to effectively increase your engagement without spending an hour a day trying to figure out something clever to say? And now that you guys know how important Instagram stories are, what do you even talk about on Instagram stories? How do you get comfortable in front of the camera? And how do you strike a balance between building a personal brand and actually sending people to your offerings? And most importantly, ensuring that your Instagram strategy actually provides an ROI, meaning I never want you guys to be spending hours a day or even a week on Instagram if you're not 100% sure that your efforts are resulting in new clients, customers, students, and sales. So the question is, how do you accomplish each of the goals that I just mentioned so you don't have to waste another year struggling to get more sales in your business? And how do you accomplish these goals without feeling like you have to spend hours a day on Instagram, buy a new camera, hire a VA to plan out all of your social media content, or do things like pay for ads in order to reach more people? If you're serious about treating Instagram like an entrepreneur, there are a few options. Option number one is to bootstrap it. You could spend the next year researching how to optimize all of the things that I just mentioned so that you can really leverage Instagram as the main source of income generation for your business. The benefit of this is that you'll be totally up to date with all of the new algorithm updates and features, at least until the algorithm changes again, right? The downside is that this can quickly become another part-time job that most of us don't have time for when you're also trying to run a business. And time is money. So if you're like I was and you're really wanting to go full-time in your business so that you can travel and work from wherever you are, you really just don't have time to waste. Option number two is that you could hire help. So you could totally hire somebody to run your Instagram account for you, a photographer to take and edit your photos, a copywriter to write your captions, and a VA to schedule out your posts for you. That's definitely an option, but the downside to this one is that to outsource all of those things would likely be at least a few $1,000s per month. And that's on the low end. So if you're like I was when I was first starting my business, I definitely didn't have that type of money to be outsourcing. Or option number three, which is the option that I'm more of a fan of, and that is becoming empowered by following a proven step-by-step course that teaches the quickest, most efficient, and effective way to build a loyal following on Instagram, and how to turn those quote-unquote followers into paying clients, students, and customers without ever feeling like you're selling anything or having to remember to stay up to date with what's happening with the algorithm that month. Because when you know who your audience is and where to find them on Instagram, what kind of content they're looking for, and how to deliver that content by simply being yourself and helping to solve their problems, your Instagram account will explode with loyal followers who are actually interested in your message. And my account is a good example of this. You are solving and sharing your expertise with interested people, not selling. So you never have to feel that really salesy or sleazy factor again. It is time to stop dreaming about the opportunities that will arise for you and your business once you finally grow your Instagram account, and start taking action now. You guys, nothing that I have shared with you today is theory. A little over 1 year ago, when I started approaching Instagram like an entrepreneur instead of a hobbyist, I was able to not only grow my account by over 30,000 people in 1 year, but I've been able to consistently generate over $8,000 per month from the leads that came directly from Instagram. I've also been able to consistently grow my email list full of potential clients and customers. I was able to hit my first ever 6-figure month in my business using Instagram as my only social media platform with a strategy. And the coolest part of all of this is that Instagram is no longer just a time suck for me anymore. It actually produces the financial ROI that allows me to travel the world and check places off of my bucket list, like Santorini, which is actually where this picture was taken. And you guys, I say this all the time, but I'm really not that special. I'm not a unicorn. I didn't have any special advantage to grow my account this quickly. But what I did have was a fire under my ass to get out of my 9-to-5 job so that I could make enough money to travel the world and work from wherever I was. And I believed that growing my Instagram following and account could help me do that. And I was totally, totally right. So everything that I've done is easily duplicatable, can be done by anybody. Okay, so if you are ready to get serious about your Instagram strategy like I was, I've put my entire process for growing my account and monetizing my business into an online course called Instapreneur. Instapreneur is the step-by-step guide to gaining loyal followers, increasing engagement, standing out from the crowd, and monetizing your business using Instagram. So this is the complete guide to everything you need to know about using Instagram as an entrepreneur and creating a strategy that will result in followers, connections, and revenue for your business without spending hours per day on your phone or without ever feeling like you are selling anything. Instapreneur is the I already said that. So, okay, let's see. I think I already, okay, there we go. The course is 100% online and completely self-paced. All the content is available as soon as you enroll. You guys get lifetime access plus access to any future updates. So anytime the algorithm changes, I'm always adding and modifying the content to make sure it's completely up to date. So if there are any Instapreneur students on the training right now, maybe just you can attest to the fact that I do keep it updated every time there are changes. And you'll also get access to a members only private community to share and get feedback on your account, your photos, things like that. Oh, thanks, Carolina. I just saw your message. It says, this is 100% worth every cent, just saying. Thank you. Okay. So the course is full of Instagram specific content and actually has over 30 training videos plus tutorials, as well as audio lessons if you'd rather listen on the go or during your commute. Also included are over 10 helpful worksheets and cheat sheets for brainstorming ideas and elaborating on the course content, as well as all of my favorite free resources for things like stock images, graphic design, color palettes, visual inspiration, and so much more. Okay, you'll also get an entire module full of Instagram tech tutorials because if you guys are anything like me, you really need that step-by-step walkthrough to learn how to do things like edit your photos or use different features on Instagram stories. So I'm actually sharing my screen of my phone and my computer and just letting you know, showing you exact step-by-step what I'm doing and how to do it yourself. Like I mentioned before, you'll also get exclusive access into the private members-only online community to start networking and collaborating with other entrepreneurs who want to grow their Instagram accounts too. So inside this group, you'll have access to ask me any questions or clarification on anything, or get feedback from the other people that are in the group. And I think at this point, there's almost 400 people in there. So it's a really good place to find colleagues, affiliates for your programs, things like that. And like I said, this is such an awesome resource too, because one of my best tips for growth when you're first starting out, which I actually, well, whether you're first starting out or not, but, and I go over how to do this in specifics inside the course, is through collaboration with other accounts who are at the same or similar level or same stage of business as you. So this group is a really good place to find your colleagues, whatever your niche might be. Lastly, you get lifetime access to the course as well as access to all future updates across all devices. So this means, like I said, anytime I add new content, new videos, or new algorithm updates, you'll be the first one to know about the changes. And lifetime access just means if you don't have time right now to go through all the content, it'll still be available, you know, next week, next month, whenever you do have time to go through it. And across all devices just means you can view the course from your desktop, your laptop, your iPad, your iPhone, whatever, or just any phone. Not everybody has an iPhone. You can, but it's available on any device. Okay, my papers are stuck together. There we go. So I'm just going to quickly now go through each of the modules and give you guys a more in-depth look about all of the amazing content that you're going to have access to as soon as you enroll. And like I said too, you get access for the life of the course, which means you're never going to lose access. Because I know a lot of you guys are super busy right now. Maybe you're still in your 9-to-5 jobs and you don't have time to go through it all right now. So I totally get it. So module number 1 is all about using Instagram for business. So in this lesson, we're going to cover niche marketing, how and why having a niche account is actually the most powerful thing you can do to expand your reach on Instagram. I'm going to teach you how to identify your unique brand messaging. I'm talking about visual and personal branding, why you should approach your Instagram strategy as an entrepreneur. And then I'm also talking about personal versus business accounts and the pros and cons of each of those. Okay, module number 2 is all about optimizing your Instagram account to help you reach more of the right people. So this means taking an in-depth look at overhauling your bio to increase conversions onto your email list, like I talked about before, and into your paid offerings, how to take and edit photos beautifully, all from your phone, how to plan and organize your feed so that it looks cohesive, how to write engaging captions that connect with your audience, and an entire lesson about hashtags and the new recommendations, including how many to use, which ones to use, where to put them, etc. Module number 3 is the longest module of the course, and it talks all about growth hacks. So basically, I'm giving you guys my top picks, and there are over 10 of them, for how to strategically grow your Instagram account full of engaged people. And it teaches you how to do what I call ethically stalk your ideal audience online and how to get them to come follow you. And don't worry, all of my methods are real, legitimate ways to grow your following, not things like follow, unfollow method or anything like that. So this lesson teaches how to actually leverage the algorithm and use it to your advantage. I teach in this module all about creating engaging Instagram stories. And there's also a newly added lesson in this module that's all about how to be confident on camera, even if you're terrified of showing your face on stories. Okay, module number 4 is all about creating your long-term strategy behind using Instagram as an entrepreneur. And that is turning the followers that you've worked so hard to get into clients and customers. But don't worry if you don't even have a product or service for sale yet. This module is also going to talk about alternative ways that you can actually make money from your Instagram account, simply by being exactly who you are right now. And another bonus lesson that is added to this module is geared towards those of you who are interested in working with brands on paid collaborations or sponsorships and things like that. I actually provide my exact fill-in-the-blank templates to use when you are reaching out to those brands. So it's really easy. It's kind of like a done-for-you template that you can just fill in and copy. Module number 5 is full of Instagram tutorials. So in these lessons, I'm actually going to be sharing the screen of my iPhone and taking you through different tactics like how to brand your stories using different colors and designs, how to read and interpret your business analytics, how to edit your photos right inside the Instagram app, how to size your photos for Instagram stories, how to show up in the top posts for hashtags, how to automatically schedule and publish your photos without ever having to think about it, and so many more. And I just wanted to quickly recap the newly added lessons. So we have a new lesson with that's all about reaching out and collaborating with brands for paid sponsorships, and I'm including the exact scripts that you can use. There's a newly added lesson on how to be confident on camera, especially if you are scared of being on video. And then there's also a new lesson on how to create branded Instagram story highlights to match your branding. And FYI, if you are currently an Instapreneur student, these are already inside the course waiting for you. So don't worry if you are already in the course. Okay, guys, so now that I've told you everything you're going to get inside the course, here's what you're going to create once the course is complete. You're going to create an Instagram account with a niche so specific that you will be able to stand out from the hundreds of thousands of other accounts out there. You're going to create a strategy for not only your photos and captions, but how to attract your ideal audience on Instagram, where to find them, and how to turn those followers into potential clients and customers. You're going to create a plan for growing your account, including how often to be posting, liking, and engaging with your audience. And don't worry, it takes a lot less time than you probably think. You'll create an Instagram account for your business or personal brand that is consistently growing engaged and active followers who are genuinely interested in your unique message. And lastly, you're going to create an Instagram account that will become the main lead generator for your entire business sales strategy. And you're going to learn exactly how to turn followers into clients, customers, and students in order to increase your business revenue. Okay, now you guys ready for the awesome bonus that I've been teasing? So to thank each of you who are watching and showed up live today, I'm bundling a few special lessons just for you guys. So if you enroll in the Instapreneur course within the next hour only, you will get my Rebelle Nutrition Instagram presets, which are worth $99. So if you guys are unfamiliar with what a preset is, they're basically like a filter or an automatic edit for your photos. And I'll show you what I mean in just a second. And you can use these right from your phone. So when you enroll within the next hour into the course, you'll automatically be sent information on how to download the, like I said, directly from your phone for free, and you don't need any other programs like Photoshop or anything like that. So just to show you what a preset kind of does, here's a before photo without the preset applied, and then here is the after photo. So you can see it just looks a lot nicer, and it's just basically an easy edit for your photos. Here's another before, after, before, after. And when you do enroll too, you'll be sent not only how to use, not only the presets, but a little video tutorial made by my husband, who is a photographer, on how to use them. So it's really awesome if you're somebody who struggles with cohesiveness in your editing style. This can be really helpful. And then bonus number 2, when you enroll within the next hour, you're going to get an entire bonus lesson from one of my other courses, which is Online Course Academy. And this lesson is going to, this lesson is specific to those of you who plan to launch a product or service using Instagram. So this lesson is really going to break down a few key strategies when it comes to increasing urgency and sales during your launch. But remember that both of these bonuses are only available if you enroll in the course within the next hour after watching this training. So if you really love the tips that I talked about today specific to launching and sales and how to get more conversions, you're really, really going to love that lesson. So I've kept you guys on the edge of your seat for way too long at this point. You're probably wondering, okay, Amy, what's the investment? So the value of all 5 modules, 10 worksheets, 30 video and audio lessons, tutorials, bonus lessons, lifetime access, and ongoing support from me inside the private Facebook group is valued at over $2,000. So like I said before, this would probably be the very minimum you would pay if you were going to hire me or another Instagram expert to help you do things like optimize your photos, captions, stories, sales strategy, etc. in a one-on-one setting, or if you were going to outsource them to somebody else. And the normal pay in full price of the Instapreneur course is $497. So if you were to head over to the course sales page on any given day, that's the price that you would pay for enrollment. But for the next 48 hours only, I am running a special promotion for anybody who decides to take action and enroll in the Instapreneur course. So what does this mean? Drum roll, please. This means your investment today is a one-time payment of $197 instead of the normal $497. So as soon as you guys are ready to enroll, you can either click the Enroll Now button that you should see on the side of your training, on the side of this training if you're watching from a desktop, or you can just simply type in the URL that you see on your screen, which is bit.ly/growmyinsta. And it is case sensitive, so make sure you have the caps on when you do Grow My Insta. And then you just have to use the code INCOME, all caps, at checkout to get that promo, or to get all 3 promos, I should say. And if you are watching this live and you're ready to enroll and get access to all 3 bonuses, like I said, you can go ahead and click the Enroll Now button right to the side of this video, or you can go to the URL listed on the screen, which I won't read off again because I think that you guys can probably all see it. Either direction or either option is going to take you directly to the sales page, and all you have to do is enter the code INCOME, all caps, at checkout to get the promo. All right. Oh, I think I skipped over that. Okay. And then if you're watching this as a replay, the preset and launch bonuses have ended, but the $300 off promotion is still valid. As long as you have access to this replay, the $300 off promo is still valid. So if you are watching this as a replay, you can still get that, but the other 2 bonuses have ended. So you just have to go to the link that's listed on your screen and then use the code INCOME, all caps, at checkout. Okay, so you guys, I'm so sure that you will love this course and have success from it, that I guarantee it. All you have to do, if you are unhappy with the course within 30 days for any reason, you can just email me or my support email and show me that you at least implemented the strategies in the course. And if you're unhappy for any reason, I will refund you. No questions asked. So I'm going to quickly just go through a couple testimonials to show you guys. I know there have been quite a few in the chat already, but I thought I would go through a couple more real quickly to show you some social proof of people who've been through the course. So Jennifer Davis, who's actually the academic manager at the NTA, says, as a person who knew absolutely nothing about Instagram, this course got me pumped. I feel like I can dominate this platform. The knowledge presented in this course is inspiring. You're a wealth of information. It is great to have a program that is dedicated to a specific social media platform that can be such a game changer for your business. Jenna said, I implemented the strategies from one of Amy's trainings and ended up having a $7,000 launch, which is awesome. This is a little screenshot that I took from Facebook. So I don't know if it's from inside the Facebook group. I don't know if you guys can read this, so I'll just read it off quickly. But basically, it was one student who was asking if anyone else, because the course, the Facebook group is for this course and my Digital Nomad Nutritionist course. So she said, has anyone in here done the Instapreneur course? I'm considering it because I really need to grow my following in order to be able to work as an influencer. Does anyone have any reviews of it? And then 4 different people commented and said, one person said, I grew my following from 640 to 840 using Instapreneur, and I haven't even implemented all of the tips yet. Somebody else said, the course is great. I highly recommend it. I didn't even have time to implement all of the strategies. Somebody else said, I'm in the middle of it and it's really worth every penny, which is awesome. And then somebody else said, I've implemented a mere fraction of the info and I've already grown my following from 700 to 1,050. So that's awesome. Jennifer said, I started the course with 640 followers. Now I have around 840 using the techniques Amy recommended, and I still haven't even implemented all of her ideas. The best part is the steady growth I've continued to see after I finished the course. I highly recommend Instapreneur for small business owners who are looking to grow their following in an authentic way. Leah said, after following Amy's advice, my followers have grown by 200 in the last 2 weeks, and I had 8 more people sign up for my restart classes. I'm also getting more one-on-one clients. So that is awesome. And then also for those of you who are NTPs or NTCs or plan to become one, the course is also available for CEUs, continuing education credits. So that's really exciting as well. Okay, you guys, I'm almost done, and then I'm going to do the Q&A. So if you have questions, it'll just be probably less than 5 minutes. I'm going to go through a few more things. But I just wanted to be real clear about who the course is for and who it's not for, because a lot of times people think that maybe my courses are only for nutritionists and health coaches, and that's totally not the case. The content in my courses and Instapreneur are applicable to any type of business. So really anybody who wants to grow and monetize their Instagram account, regardless of their niche. So if you are looking for help on, Twitter, this isn't the right course for you. But if you are a fan of Instagram, like I am, then this is the course for you. And then I also want to be clear about who the course is not for. So even though I do have that 30-day money-back guarantee, I just want to be really clear who the course is not for. So it's not for anybody who's looking for a get-rich-quick scheme that isn't willing to put in the work on the front end. It's not for anyone who's unwilling to try out new strategies. And like I said before, if you don't want to be on Instagram, it's probably not the right course for you. Okay, so one last time, you guys, here's another reminder to enroll in the Instapreneur course. You'll be receiving $300 off the normal $497 price if you enroll today for the next 48 hours only. And whenever you're ready to enroll, you can just go to the URL that you see on your screen, which is bit.ly/growmyinsta, all caps, and then use code INCOME, all caps, at checkout. And if you are watching this live, the other 2 bonuses, so the launch bonus and the preset bonus, are both still available, as well as the $300 off bonus. So you get all 3 bonuses worth over $500 if you enroll within the next hour of watching this. And if you're watching this as a replay, the $300 off bonus, or promo, I should say, is still valid, but the other 2 bonuses have ended. So whenever you're ready, there should be a link at the side of this training that says enroll now that you can click over to the sales page from there. Or you can just go to bit.ly/growmyinsta, all caps. And okay, you guys have already seen these. These are just the last few slides. And then I'm going to click over to, okay, Alexa said the code isn't working. Yeah, just make sure that the code INCOME is all caps, and then that should be working. Let me know if you're still having trouble. But yeah, so if you're watching live, the 3 promos, and just to go over, what those are again, the three bonuses, I should say, sorry, are the extra lesson on creating urgency in your launch, and then the Instagram presets. Those are still available. And then the $300 off is going to be available for the next 48 hours. So if you're watching live, all of those bonuses are still available. If you're watching as a replay, the first 2 bonuses have ended. Only the $300 off promo is valid. So if you guys have any questions, so I'm going to click over to do the Q&A right now. But if you have any questions that I am not able to get to during the Q&A, feel free to send an email to my support team, and either myself or one of my assistants, Vanessa or Alexandra, will get back to you as soon as possible. So I'm going to click over and get this back on my face again. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Let's go through the questions. So I'm going to go back through to the beginning. Looks like they're marked as questions. Okay. So Ashley said, would you launch the same product, or do you need to launch a new product each time? I'm not sure if you mean, Ashley, if you're still watching, let me know if you mean like every time you link to a freebie, if that's what you're saying. For me personally, I always switch up whatever my offer is. So at this point, I have a variety of different courses and paid offers. And so I switch my freebie a couple times. I'd say maybe at least once a month. But I know, don't feel like you have to have multiple offers before you can start using the techniques I shared today. Even if you just have one freebie right now, just go ahead and promote that until you have multiple. So don't let anything prevent you from getting started. Jess said, so are you suggesting an email list for things like Beautycounter? I've seen bigger bloggers do this. Yes, absolutely, yes. So hopefully the Beautycounter, if you're selling Beautycounter, hopefully your team has encouraged you to start an email list, because this is where, sorry, this light is shining like right over my head. Your email list is where a majority of your sales are going to come from. And I can pretty confidently say that no matter what your business is. So whether you have an MLM business, whether you sell Beautycounter, whether you sell courses, whether you sell one-on-one consultations, definitely need to have an email list. Okay, Kelly said, how long does it take to go through the course? That totally just depends on how much time, I guess, I would say on average, it probably takes, if you're doing it, because the thing is, the content itself actually isn't going to take you that long. I would say in total, maybe less than 10 hours. But what it's going to take longer is actually implementing the strategies. So what I kind of do in this course and all my courses is I teach a lesson and then I give you an action step to go out and implement it. So it really just depends on how long it takes you to implement those action steps and how many other things you have going on at this point. Because I know if you have a business, you're probably quite busy at this point. Carolina says, dang, I'm already in the course. Those bonuses are awesome. Carolina, if you are still on and you message me, if you're already in the course, I'll give you access to those bonuses too. Chantel said, do you still do a payment plan with the offer? This time, so there is still a payment plan, but the promo is not applicable to the payment plan. Hopefully that just made sense. Just because this time the promo is so significant, it's only going to be applicable to the pay in full. Laureen said, I'm also signed up for Online Course Academy, but haven't gone through it yet. I'm going to next month. Awesome. How much crossover from that? Really good question, Laureen. Hopefully you're still on. There is no crossover between the two. It's all completely brand new content. So if you have, let's say you're enrolled in Digital Nomad Nutritionist or you're enrolled in Online Course Academy, this course is all completely brand new content. Okay. Let's see. Kara said, I'm just starting an online nutrition school and had selected a domain name Detox as my last name and my last name is D and it's supposed to sound like detox. What do you think of the name? I like that. I think that's clever and catchy. Okay, Nicole said, how does strategy for not directing your audience directly to your sales page and offering a freebie relate to selling Beautycounter? Oh, that's such a good question, because it's something that I see a lot. And I will be honest, sometimes I do link directly to my Beautycounter sales page, but if I'm being totally honest, that is not the most effective way. If your goal is to get sales in your Beautycounter or any sort of physical product business, I still would recommend not sending people directly to like your beautycounter.com / your name or whatever, because if they're going there, that's a great sign. That means that they're interested, but likely, I mean, how many times do you go check out a product, especially online, or even put stuff in your cart and not go all the way through the checkout? So I think my tips really apply to even Beautycounter too, is you want to think of some sort of freebie that's going to either explain. So I'm assuming if you're doing Beautycounter, there's probably a handful of products that you really like or that you have success with personally. Maybe you used to have acne, and so you really like the specific products that help with acne. I think a better solution for this would be to create some sort of freebie that's talking about maybe how you use the products to help clear up acne, or, maybe a combination of the products and, different things you can do food-wise or lifestyle-wise to clear up acne. So you're really targeting people who are suffering from acne and providing them a really good solution. But you're also getting their email address. And the good thing about this is that now you have their email address and specifically that person struggles with acne. So over time, you can continue to send them more information about, the new acne line that's a part of Beautycounter and who that's for and what it can do and what the different ingredients help with and things like that. Because you obviously already know that they are really interested, and continuing to communicate with them that way and send them the link through email is just so much more effective in generating sales. So hopefully that answers your question. I hope you are still on to hear that answer. Let me know. Cool. Yeah, Kara, I think Eric looks like he answered that question for you, but what website do you use? I use Squarespace. Website host, sorry. Yeah, ours is hosted by Squarespace as well. Okay, cool. I'm glad that was helpful, Nicole. I'm going to go back through and see if there are any other questions that I missed. And Kara, just to elaborate that on that a little bit more, Squarespace I love because it's honestly so easy. I think it's really geared at people who don't want to, who aren't super tech savvy with their website. Because I know when I was getting started with my business, I didn't really know how to do an opt-in or a landing page or anything like that. And Squarespace was easy enough for me to be able to figure that out pretty quickly, as somebody who previously didn't have a lot of business experience. So hopefully that can help you answer that for you. Okay. Cool. Well, that's looking like all the questions I have so far. It looks like there's still 65 of you on, which is kind of crazy. That's awesome. So I'll hang out a couple more minutes. Let me know if anybody has any other questions at this point. Just hanging out. So I think, what time is it? I think it's probably still morning where most of you guys are. It is afternoon. It is, let's see, it's about 5:15 here in Lisbon. And I'm really excited. I haven't shared this with you guys yet, but if anybody wants to guess where maybe I should do some sort of giveaway if you can guess the next place that we're traveling to. Because Eric and I are going to be in Lisbon for about another week. And then I'm so excited to tell you guys where we're going. Okay. Okay, Hannah said, if we enrolled just now, will we automatically get those bonuses, or did I miss something about how to get those? Yeah, you'll be automatically sent an email with the info on how to get those. And if for some reason you don't get that email or you can't find it, let me know. And I will hook you up with that. Okay. Alexa said, I'm part of different groups of my niche, but I didn't create them. What's the best way for us to start building and growing an email list? So I'll just answer the second part of your question. So I don't know if you mean other than kind of what I covered about creating the freebie. That's honestly the best way to start growing an email list, is to think of step one is knowing who you want to be helping in your business. So if you have any sort of paid product or service, let's say you have a one-on-one coaching service or one-on-one health coaching service where you help women with PCOS. So let's say that's not very specific, but let's say that's who your health coaching is targeting. Those are the people that you want to help. You have to then kind of trace your steps back and put yourself into that person's shoes. And a lot of times that's easy because the person that we want to help is usually has been us at one point. So think about that. Think about when you were struggling, what would have been so helpful to you. If you can put yourself back in those shoes and be like, what is something that I would have gone out of my way to sign up for or to attend, if it's a live training, or what would I have paid for, things like that. So I can actually give you a good example of something that just comes to mind. If you guys are following me on Instagram, you know that I found out a couple of weeks ago that I have 2 parasites, and I've been like obsessively researching them and stuff like that. And at this point, I just feel like I've gone down so many rabbit holes. I feel like I would be definitely at this point willing to pay somebody, for their expertise. Or I would be definitely willing to like opt into some sort of freebie that was going to give me, actually I did, I opted into this like parasite live streaming thing. So now those people have my email, and I'm sure they'll try and sell me on a bunch of parasite related like supplements and coaching and things like that. So you have to get back in the mindset of whoever your target audience is and think, what would they want? What's something that I can give them for free that's going to turn them into a lifelong customer, or make them just think that but position myself as the authority on whatever your topic is. And then from there, you can continue to send them your paid offerings and follow up with them, and just know that, they might not buy the first time that you send them a sales email, but it's a long-term strategy, and you have to continue to stay in contact with those people. Okay. Oh, looks like people are making friends in the comments. Cool. Yeah, meet up, you guys. That's amazing. Michelle said, are you going to Morocco? Liz said, Australia. You're going to Colombia. I would love to go to all of those places, but none of those are right. Cool. Okay, I'll wait a couple more minutes. But anyways, just thank you guys so much, by the way, if you're still on, for making it all the way to the end. I always just am so appreciative that you guys come show up to my trainings, and I hope this was really helpful to you. So I'm glad that you guys all showed up. I'll just wait one more minute. Not Switzerland. I would like to go there too. I've heard it's beautiful. Thank you, Raisa. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yay, Alexa, excited to have you. No, Kirsten, or I think it's Kirsten. Hopefully I said that right. Not going to Canada, but I would love to go to Canada. Oh, Leah said, what if you're selling a recipe ebook? What would be a good freebie? A recipe? Yeah, I think a recipe would be awesome. So a lot of times what I see works well for people, I can actually think of somebody off the top of my head who does a lot of Instagram stories and videos where she shares like one recipe or a version of it, and like shows her making it, how she makes it, the ingredients, all of that. Well, I guess that wouldn't be a freebie, but what I'm saying is that maybe if you have, let's say you're blogging or you're doing an Instagram story, you could do a story showing like the ingredients, and then the free opt-in could be learn how to actually make this recipe. Or, do an Instagram story of like your food photography, but not how to actually make it. And the opt-in can be the exact recipe. Michelle said, how often should freebies be offered? So I think that you should always have some sort of freebie in that clickable link in your bio, but that doesn't mean that you need to be sending people there actively. It doesn't, like, what I mean by that is you don't need to be getting on Instagram stories every single day and being like, hey, go check out my freebie. But I think that you should always have that link in there Because if somebody finds you, let's say, and has stalked all your photos, they want more from you, they're definitely going to go there. But in terms of actively promoting it, doing some sort of story or call to action in your caption or something like that, I think once a week, 1 to 2 times a week is a good amount of time. If you are in the middle of a launch, though, like I said, you're going to want to be sending people there every single day. But that's not a long-term strategy. You're only doing that a couple times a year. Laureen says, I struggle with freebies, so hopefully once I get going with OCA, we can chat about that. Yeah, definitely. And if you're still on, if you can give me the specifics about the freebie, is your question more that like you don't know what to create for your client or for your audience? Yay, welcome Chantel. Chantel just enrolled. Excited to have you. Alexa, cool, welcome. Yeah, I'm interested to know because it seems like you guys all have a lot of freebie questions. So I'd love to help you guys out with that if I know more specifically, like what about them you're struggling with. Yay, welcome Michelle. Glad to have you. You're welcome. I'm so excited to offer this to you guys. And these bonuses are really awesome too. So I'm glad that I'm having a lot of people sign up. Laureen said, yes, I haven't created many, so I struggle with what people want. Yeah, that can be a challenge. I think you said you're in Online Course Academy, right? So I think once you go through that content, you're going to have a lot better of an idea of, number one, who your audience is and exactly what they want. So I'd say it's perfect. Cool. So let me know if you have questions after that, but I honestly feel like that's probably the most extensive kind of content that you can go through that I've ever made in terms of figuring out what your audience wants. Kirsten said, is there a course that you have about starting the business, like the sole proprietorship, incorporating and picking insurance? Yes. Kirsten, Digital Nomad Nutritionist is the course that I have that's more about just starting from square one, starting your business. And you don't actually have to be a nutritionist. It's applicable, like I said, to any sort of business, but a lot of my students are health coaches and nutritionists or somewhat related to the wellness world. Yay, Doro. I think that's Dorota. I didn't know if you like to be called Doro or Dorota. She enrolled. Welcome. Excited to have you. Oh, okay. Michelle said, I have lots of content for freebies, but making the actual freebie, making it look good is what I struggle with. Yeah. So my recommendations for that are definitely to, number one, I think Canva is really helpful. So I don't know if you've used Canva at all. Number two, you can find, like if you go on Fiverr, or there's a lot of websites where you can find a VA that will make something like that. Like they have graphic design experience and they can make a freebie for you. It'll take them like an hour of work because they know what they're doing. They'll make it look really good and it'll only cost maybe less than $20. So I'd say if you really struggle with the design piece, that'd be a good place to start. But another really good option too, if you're at least somewhat comfortable on video, is to just do a video kind of related freebie, because that you don't have to do any sort of graphic design with. You just sort of show up and are live and teach something, maybe in a Facebook group or on Instagram Live, or something like that. Or you can edit it ahead of time too. So obviously that's not, you could probably do that on a different platform than Instagram, but your freebie could be on Instagram. Alexa says, as IG changes and updates the algorithm, do you help us with the updates? Yes. So all the updates are always added into the course. Kirsten says, yes, I'm an NTP. Okay, cool. Yeah. So Digital Nomad Nutritionist, Kristen, would probably be the best bet for you to get started, especially as an NTP. And if you need the link to that, let me know. Otherwise, yeah, let me know if you need the link to that. I can find it for you. Carolina said, awesome idea with the live. Yeah, honestly, it can be nerve-wracking at first if you haven't done a live stream before, but that's probably the easiest way to do any sort of freebie. But remember, you don't just want to be sending people there and telling them when to show up. You want to be getting their email address and then sending them the info about when to show up, because then you have their email. So hopefully that made sense. Cool. Well, I think that's all the questions right now. So I am going to, it's almost been an hour and a half. Cool. Well, I will talk to you guys soon, and I can't wait to see you all in the course. Thanks again for showing up. Bye.